What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 68. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
I am the god of war.
And Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
All right, we got the New York crew tonight. Everybody is off. Like Brett, okay, we did the panel thing. We're gonna talk about that in a bit. So he had makeup work, and Brian got drunk as shit last night. So you know how that went down. He's like, I can't do it, man. He needs to recuperate. Oh man. So in honor of Brian, I'm gonna have a beer on the show. All right. So first things first, I want to talk about panel to panel versus Throwdown, the big showdown, which went a completely different way than I was expecting, man. Like, the first half was kind of what I was expecting, but then we, during the middle of it, we hit like a consensus, like middle ground, and then it just went smooth. It was the most civil war you could have had.
Yeah.
It was a very civil war.
Well, you know what? I think we came to an understanding about each other. We're all, at the end of the day, we're all nerds. We all love comic books, and so we all got on the same page, right? It wasn't there was no more assumptions about what we know and what they know, right?
Yeah.
We all argued our points. I think that's how we came together, right?
Yeah, that was the big issue here. It wasn't that we didn't like the direction or the side. They didn't understand where we're coming from. We didn't understand where they were coming from, right? And remember, since we were dealing with kind of hot button topics, you just kind of make assumptions, like a gut feeling, So that was going on there. We didn't understand where we were coming from and stuff. And yeah, as we talked, we kind of started understanding each other, and I like that. During the show, I said that it was like the Justice League versus Avengers, and it was going to be Superman's going to whip everybody's ass. What ended up happening was what happened in Justice League versus Avengers. This is what happened. So the two teams are beating the shit out of each other, right? Batman and Captain America, they see each other, start beating the fuck out of each other, but nobody actually has the upper hand, Batman is just as powerful as Captain America and vice versa. Then they stop and look at each other. It's like, okay, we're evenly matched. Let's go find the real bad guy here. That's what happened last night. We all agreed, it's like, yeah, marketing and fucking the media especially, that's the problem here, because my thing is like, hey, listen, I don't like the direction Marvel's going with some of these things, right? Like specifically female Thor. Not happy with that story. I think it's really clunky and dumb, right? But that's okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, why is it wrong for me to not like it? Because I don't like that. I'm suddenly a fucking misogynist. That's my thing. I'm like, whoa, you're taking it to a whole other level we shouldn't even be at right now. That's my whole thing. And I don't think they initially understood that. Maybe they thought we were being misogynist. I don't know. But by the end of it, they're like, yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, and when we dissected the story itself, even what led to female Thor is just all stupid. Or Original Sin was a stupid story. Let's just be real. So compounding the issue is what happened after everything that happened after it. Like the whole feud between the heroes because Nick Fury killed the Watcher and whispered in Thor. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's just all retarded, and I mean that's why I was ultimately happy because it not I was gonna say devolved, but it evolved. The conversation evolved into what it should have been. Nerds talking about nerd shit. We're talking about the actual comics, not all the shit surrounding it. Even though the shit surrounding it is what initially got us pissed off in the first place, And I want to just say this publicly. I got to give you props, Chris. You came in with the encyclopedia, man. I know you said you did your research, but holy shit! Like, all right, let me stop you right now. An issue, blah blah blah. This happened. Breaking all that shit down, man. I told you guys, we know our fucking shit. Throwdown doesn't mess around, man.
Yeah, I just had to get my issues and timeline straight. But I've read those stories. Like, we've all read Thor back in the 90s, so I remembered all that Eric Masterson stuff. So you weren't going to try... Yeah, they weren't going to try to pull anything over on us. Like, especially not me. I went and re-looked at all of that shit before the show. So
yes.
I knew what I was talking about. And yeah, and we love comics. We all love comics, and we all know those stories. I mean, yeah, things diverge. Like, you're reading more Valiant now. I'm looking at more indie stuff. Like, Marvel and DC really aren't holding our attention anymore because they do these gimmicky shit that we don't like.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it really stems from. All this stuff is all gimmicks, and it's all made to get readers, basically. That's what it's really about. It's even made to get people who don't want to buy their shit to buy their shit. It's like, well, what the fuck are they doing? Let me buy it. Either way, they get you. And I'm just tired of it. And as we proved last night, Marvel has a long history of it. My problem with them doesn't even come with the whole like ham fisting, even though the ham fisting is fucked up too. There's other issues involved here, just like the same tired plots, the same like gimmicks over and over again, And by gimmicks, I mean, hey, let's kill off a character, have a replacement, then bring that character back. That shit. Now things are a little bit worse because it's like, hey, let's bring the character back, but keep the replacement around with the same name. You know what's going to happen with Jane Foster. Thor's going to come back, and she's still going to be Thor too.
Yeah, they're either going to do that. It's one of two things. I agree with that, or she's going to die.
Or she's going to die. Yeah.
Or die, quote, die.
Yeah, in comics, die, right?
Yeah, that means you take a break. You're on vacation until they resurrect you.
Yeah,
it's like when a wrestler leaves the World Wrestling Federation. They don't talk about them, and then they come back all of a sudden.
Oh no, Undertaker!
He's back.
You didn't say he went away though. But yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, in their nature, comics could do some dumb shit, but the big two kind of do more dumb shit. But I still give the credit to DC, not because of the diversity stuff, but more because they don't seem to like throw it in your face as much. But like Charles said, and it's a good point, who's selling more? It's like DC's doing almost the same thing Marvel's doing, right? But they're just not announcing it, right?
Yeah.
Popular. Yeah.
Right, but I think Marvel is more guilty of these kind of throwing epics at you. And even though they said they were going to stop, you pointed out last night, they haven't. We're going to get Civil War 2, and in between that, there's something else. We just had Secret Wars. Like, yo, slow it down, man. This is exactly why I got pissed before. Like, One More Day, Civil War, Secret Invasion. You just kept going, man. It's like a million issues to get to put together the whole story. I just get tired of it.
Yeah, and even if you're like a guy who collects trade paperbacks, right? I hate collecting like the first 3 trade paperbacks and telling a solid story, then all of a sudden it flips because it's part of a fucking crossover. It's like you just ruined everything. Like why do we have to have these constant crossovers? Actually, I know the answer. Money. That's why. Because people buy crossovers. I remember there was a period in time, I guess between the like early mid 2000s, right? Marvel was like, okay, we're gonna do an entire year no crossovers. Guess what happened? Sales, whoop, they dropped. So it's kind of fucked up that comic fans are kind of guilty of that shit too. Comic fans, keep crying out against crossovers, yet they only buy crossovers. So which is it?
It also, the thing is that also when crossovers come around, it also means that people come out, people who probably may have not been reading comics, reading those sorts of comics for a while, come out of the woodwork. You did that over the summer.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's what I did, yeah.
So you fell for the rope-a-dope.
Yeah, well, I didn't exactly pay for it either, if you know what I'm saying. But the thing is, it all boiled down to is like they liked the direction Marvel was going in, we don't, and we understood each other, and that's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be, So I was a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll do another crossover again. Maybe we'll do another crossover in 2 months, just like Marvel, right?
Oh man,
just nothing but crossovers, man. All right, so yeah, this week kind of a weird week with games. Not much happened. Kind of a slow week. But some things stood out, especially Nintendo. Chris, what is going on with Nintendo, man? Like, I'm seeing this shit. Like, I'm working at Geek.com now, right? My editor sends me this thing. It's like, dude, can you believe it? And he's like, dude, what is going on with Nintendo? And I'm like, what's going on, dude? And apparently, like, this guy on Twitter who's like an insider, he posted like this survey that's going around, right? And I guess they're asking people what they want in the console. And there's these things in there. I'm like, okay, like some things are like standard, like okay, they're gonna have like achievements now, cool, for the NX and all this other stuff. But then the other thing that caught my eye instantly, we were both like, whoa, really? 900p games. It's like, so you're okay, 900p games and a sensor bar, right? So I'm like, so you're making an Xbox, basically.
Yeah. I mean, so sensor bar means we're going to the same BS over again of motion controls, which means you're gonna have and we seen the patents before. We talked about this on an old Throwdown, which the controller looks freaking weird if that's the design. It's like a big screen with thumbsticks and contextual controls all over it. So I don't know how that's gonna work. And then I don't understand how you're gonna have streaming at 4K 60 frames a
Thank
second
you.
when you're only running at 900p 60 frames. Like, how does that make any sense?
Okay, so I'm not going crazy, right? So that really doesn't make any sense. 'Cause I'm trying to figure out my wait. Okay, first you have to upgrade it to not upgrade it. What's it called? Upscale to 1080p, right? On a normal television, because there are no 900p televisions out there. So you got to upscale it to that, right? And then you're gonna go, oh yeah, 4K streaming. What?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I would see that they have 4K streaming, but yet only their games are only going to support 900p, is to support other media like movies, which is insane to me. So you're going to have a game console that can support 4K video, so you can have your Ultra HD Netflix and Blu-rays, but your games don't even run at 1080p, which just screams loads about your hardware choices are probably still shit.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump on that real quick because they said the games are going to be 900p 60 frames a second. So I'm like, okay, you got 60 frames a second because you took a hit on resolution. So that tells me that this console is not any more powerful than the PS4 or the Xbox One. It's almost exactly the same. And remember, when we were saying it's going to be more powerful, no, it's actually going to be kind of worse in some ways. You know, so what the fuck is this? But again, it's Nintendo being Nintendo. Nintendo has not been like in the forefront of technology in a long fucking time.
No, they've been at least a generation behind, and I think all the best you could do. And come on, the Roku, a little Roku can stream 4K, right? You're just talking video, so that's all they're doing. When they say they're streaming 4K, that's immediately what I thought. I'm like, oh, so you have a Roku that can play video games? Like that's what this thing's going to be. I just think that, as usual, they're being very conservative and safe with their hardware choices, and it's going to be weak all over again. It's not going to compare to what we have right now. What you have in your living room, if you have Xbox or PS4 or both, is going to be better than what they're offering. That's what I get from this statement.
Yeah, and the other thing is, this is just my guess, obviously, because none of this shit is confirmed yet. Possibly the other reason that this thing is 900p because it has to run on the controller too. Here's the interesting thing though, they didn't call it a controller. It said the NX device. Like,
well,
okay,
yeah, that leads to another line of thinking that this thing might be able to, you might be able to take it with you anywhere, right? That was I heard rumors about this before, that they're going to have this like, so basically what this is killing both the 3DS and the Wii U at the same time.
Yeah, because let's just break it down. It goes gameplay flows between Nintendo NX console and Nintendo NX handheld device. So, like you said, you're killing both of them in one fell swoop, essentially.
Yeah, and I've seen the vitriol from a lot of fans, especially people who were 3DS players. Are like, oh, at least we have support for this. And you've kind of noticed like that they haven't been putting out anything for 3DS either. Like the titles for 3DS have dwindled. That's because they're going to cut it off. But they're not going to tell you they cut it off. I mean, with you just put two and two together. The NX is killing both of those systems, and then I guess you'll be able to stream the game from the NX to this device, and then I'm assuming you can take it with you out of the house and take it like to work or something and continue playing your games. I'm not sure how that how they're going to pull that off, but I'm sure it's going to be in the most roundabout, worst way possible.
Because it's Nintendo, obviously.
Yes.
And the thing is, just to keep it in mind, because this thing lists what's in the box. In the box is a game controller. So this NX handheld is something completely separate from the console. It may have to be something you have to buy separately, too.
Right.
Man.
Because if you have to buy both of those at once, that thing is going to be, what, $500, $600 at launch, right? For all that hardware. Who's going to spend that? And Nintendo's not going to get up there and pull a Kaz Hirai and tell you to get 2 jobs to buy their console, man. They'll be smoking crack if they expect that, you know? Come on, not when you could get an Xbox for $300 now or a PS4.
Yeah. Now,
Or
obviously, all this stuff is still rumors and stuff, but again, I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it past Nintendo, man. I really wouldn't put it past Nintendo of making like the cheapest shit possible, you know?
yeah. And there were
Because
already
yeah.
leaks about it being
Hmm.
Android based. Right, we've heard that before. So I mean, this is all coming together. And it's starting to. It makes you think when you put all the different leaks together that this is part of what's happening.
Yeah, and then obviously, the next thing is like, if this comes, okay, this console comes out, how long is it gonna last realistically? Because the third parties aren't going to be around. Like you said a bunch of times, Ubisoft was like, we're gonna wait to see about this shit before we put any games on it, you know?
Yeah, I guarantee all the big guys are gonna wait. Like, Bethesda has said they're not supporting it. EA has flat out said they're not supporting it unless they get market share. Which it's EA. They're like, hey, you're not
Yeah,
making any money, so we won't make any money, so we're not helping you. And Ubisoft's not gonna touch them either. So with no third party support, I mean, you better have more than Zelda launching with that thing, man. Like, and their sales expectations are going to be through the roof. And this is the year that Oculus is coming out, and God knows what other hardware is coming out this year. And with games and stuff, like Nintendo's got to realize people got to make choices. You decided on your own to deflect from the console cycle, right? And they're doing
yeah,
their own thing. So you're launching in 2016. You're launching against like Oculus is coming out this year, so VR is going to start. People are still going to invest in VR this year, and probably around the holidays too. So I don't know where you fit into this equation, right?
yeah,
Don't fit into
exactly.
well.
But again, with Nintendo, right? They're not seeing the bigger picture. They're not seeing the world around them. They're just seeing Nintendo. What are we doing next? And they figured, hey, the rest of the world doesn't really matter because we're Nintendo and we're going to do our thing, and people are going to be amazed. It's like, no, that's not how it works anymore. This isn't 1985, Nintendo. You don't rule the world anymore. That shit is done. People, they have VR, like you said. Bunch of other games coming out for other consoles. Why would they go, you know what, I'm not going to buy into that. I'm going to buy the new Nintendo system. Why would anybody do that in their right mind?
All right. I think they're only going to get loyalists and early adopters, and that's a flash in the pan. It's going to be a flash in the pan compared to what the early adopters who are going to get in on Oculus is going to way outpace. I'm sorry, Nintendo fans, way outpace the guys who are going to support the NX. Right? Let's just be real. Even if VR doesn't take off, the number of people who are going to jump on Oculus is going to way overpower the number of people going to jump on this new console. And you got to realize Nintendo has no faith among developers now, from Western developers. So they're on their own. So they better have every studio they got cranking out something that's better than what they've been showing us, right? And we just gotta wait till E3, man. I want to see that stream. I can't wait to see that stream because they have just been disappointing. It's just like a downward slide. It's like going down a roller coaster that ends at the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's more like a roller coaster that has no like bottom. It just
Yeah,
keeps
it just
going down
goes
and
down.
down.
It goes through the floor.
Yeah, and again, even if you are at E3, it's going to be through a stream because Nintendo doesn't have a fucking show.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, even for this, like you would think they would actually put on a show. This is like, okay, you launch a new console, rent a theater, guys. Put on a show. But no, if you're just gonna have Mr. Kimishima, whoever, come out and bow and hold up this ambiguous box, over a stream, I don't know.
Yeah, are they going to just pull out the controller again? It's like, oh, this is
Oh,
the
that
new
mess.
console.
Yeah. That will show you that they didn't learn anything.
Yeah, exactly. Man, what's your take on all this?
Hey, yeah, I'm the thing about it is the 900p thing. Obviously, it's what it's a lot of the Xbox games are on that. I mean, to be honest, I don't think that's much of that's not that bad. But if they're claiming that every game's gonna run at 60 frames per second, that's fine too. But the thing is that how were they saying that this thing was supposed to be really powerful?
They
Some,
said it was going to be
yeah,
more powerful.
yeah, it said it's going to be more powerful,
Yeah, who knows?
and it
I
seems
mean,
like it's just as powerful.
I think I think in general it's just as powerful, and I think they're usually, as they always say, it's just going to be the kind of the same thing over again. Just maybe a marginal jump past the Wii U, and yeah. and I don't know if they're asking. It seems very late in the game to be asking people what they want in this system, since it's going to be released supposedly
Yeah,
very soon.
exactly.
What are they going to? What are they releasing?
Well, the survey is just blowing smoke, man. Remember the Konami survey? Like, what kind
Yeah.
of games you want to see? Hey, I don't remember choosing pachinko games. No,
Yeah, exactly.
they already made those decisions, man. They don't care what they especially don't care what we think here in the
They
States
really
of the, the
exactly.
Western
They don't give a
Hemisphere.
fuck.
They don't give a fuck what we think.
All right, I want to talk about the censor bar because you already know what that means. Motion. Oh man, come on, man. Like Nintendo, why can't you just make like an interface that people are familiar with, a regular controller on a console on a television?
because it doesn't make them stand out compared to anything else.
But them
They,
standing out isn't helping them
you,
either.
you understand that other than if they're not running it on the graphics side, if they're not running it on doing the software side, what do they have? They have a
Nothing.
gimmick. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Well,
all they have.
I thought that's what they were supposed to be differentiated on their software. The great games, the guys who make the best exclusives. That should be enough for them to differentiate themselves from the rest of the pack. But to stick with this dead gimmick, this horse is dead and rotten. Already.
Exactly.
Everybody's jumped off of motion controls. It's like everybody's trying something different. Steam controller with haptic feedback, VR, like.
Hey, bring back the Virtual Boy.
Oh God!
They probably have a bad bad memories from that one thing.
It's gonna have two colors now.
Yeah, man. If you're gonna tell me they're gonna launch, if the thing is gonna look like the Vita that controls like a box, like that would have been fine. Like you don't need a fucking sensor bar. Like we're really going back to this shit. That's ridiculous. Like. And it's not even a camera. It's just a sensor bar.
Yeah, sensor bar. Yeah.
And then the other thing is that maybe the reason why that sensor bar exists too is that maybe that's also them having their cake and eating it, where they essentially can run all their old games on there.
Oh, you mean like Wii games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If this thing is backwards, well, we don't know if it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, we don't know.
But
it's backwards.
It's backwards. And remember, they're now bragging that they're going to have this Nintendo Network and stuff, which means that they have finally joined, 10 or 12 years of Xbox Live or whatever and PSN that have existed to make single sign-on. Congratulations, guys! Welcome to 2005, 6?
Yeah, and achievements too. Good for you guys.
Yeah, and some sort of achievements like. But I don't know. I really would be hesitant to see them implement this because they're really not good at implementing this stuff, especially if they expect millions and millions, which I'm sure they have pie in the sky that they're going to have millions and millions of people buying this thing, that they can support it, and they have not ever had a network like this, ever. Like the eShop is crap. Right? They don't have single sign-on at all. Like your console, the Wii U and the 3DS are still isolated where all your information is in the system. It's not in a database anywhere. So I really want to see them pull this off and make it seamless.
Yeah. It's not going to happen, though. This is Nintendo we're talking about here, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Nintendo. All right, I guess we'll have to see, I mean, we're going to find out about this pretty soon, if not E3, maybe a little bit before that,
Right.
Fuck Nintendo. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about WB. Man, they're doing PC gamers dirty again, man, with Mortal Kombat. Did you see this shit? So apparently, Mortal Kombat X, I believe, whatever the hell it's called, is getting brand new characters, getting Alien and some other guy. PC version's not getting them.
Well,
and it go ahead.
Why not? They're just cutting out PC gamers from any of the updates. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then there's it gets better, by the way. This whole story just keeps getting worse and worse. Okay, so now there's gonna be like Mortal Kombat XL, right? Like a special edition coming. That's not coming to PC.
So they don't get the special edition. They don't get any DLC, and they're discontinuing support for PC players.
And it gets better. Mortal Kombat's going to get a big patch because it's had issues with its netcode or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's getting a big patch. They have to fix it. It's getting a big patch on the PS4 and Xbox One. Guess what's being left out?
Yeah, PC.
PC, man. It's like, damn, dude, you're doing like these dudes dirty, man, dirty.
I guess they have to do what a lot of PC people do, is essentially fix the broken games that developers throw out there.
Yeah, but I mean, can they even like patch netcode themselves? Like, unless they make them, I don't know how PC guys would get around that. But and then apparently there's like only 500,000 people that bought the game on PC. So WB's probably like, fuck those guys.
Yeah, but see, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You released a broken game on PC that is basically, these guys are going to fight online. The game doesn't work well online. You can't have a fighting game that has crazy amounts of lag and stutter. It's unplayable, right? You can't do that. So the game's unplayable online. So gamers are like, fuck this, and a lot of games, when you have bad word of mouth, especially when reviewers are telling you this game is unplayable online, you're not going to buy it, right? And then WB goes, hey, nobody bought it on PC. Guess what? Fuck these guys. We're just going to support the consoles. You fix the freaking game so that people buy it, and then you have support on all the systems. So PC players get screwed over again because they fucked up out of the gate, and it's like unbelievable. That really makes me mad.
Yeah,
I'm not even playing. I have the option to play it on a console, and I could be like, I don't care, I played Batman Arkham Knight just fine, right? But I was still upset for what they did to PC guys, and that again was Warner Brothers.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't. Did they fuck up Mad Max too? Because damn, man, this is crazy. Oh, by the way, shout out to Phantom Vash who made me aware of this story. Cause, yeah, this is like, whoa, dude, you just fucking these guys over again. WB. But then again, they're probably making most of their money off consoles anyway. They probably don't give a fuck about PC players.
Right, but they screwed themselves out of this opportunity because if this game worked well, their sales could have been great on PC as well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's because they fucked it up out of the gate. The only game they have seemed to release well on PC at all was Shadows of Mordor. That's it.
Yeah, that's
like
the only
everything
one that
after that has been fucked up. Batman was like unplay. That's not even a multiplayer game. How do you fuck that up?
Yeah, that's true. Like, that was really unplayable. Like, you can still play Mortal Kombat offline. Batman is like, you can't play it for shit.
Yeah, and I know I talked to Torrance about it too. I know there was a thing with ATR and NVIDIA. I think it didn't work for ATR people, but still, you shouldn't be have a fucked up experience because you chose one piece of hardware over another. Like it's still unplayable as far as I'm concerned. And when did they fix it? December? Or how many months? It was like 6 months to fix it. Ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's insane. So we had to talk about that real quick. It's like, guys, man, if you're a PC guy, just don't buy Warner Brothers stuff anymore. Just leave them be. Play their games on their console, whatever console you have, because you wouldn't get any support. That's just the way it is.
Right. I feel bad for the guys who paid for Mortal Kombat on PC, man.
Shit, 500,000 of them, man. There's like 500,000 dudes.
So you took these guys' money, and now you're like, fuck it. Like basically giving them the middle finger. There's your support.
Wow, it's ridiculous. Oh, by the way, a quick little anecdote here. So the story that he sent me, the link was from Destructoid. Look at Destructoid's blurb right now. STFU and just blog video games. Sounds familiar, by the way. It sounds very, very familiar. Oh man! All right, moving on. So this one I posted on Geek as well. Very weird story. So there's this Canadian development team, right? And they're releasing what they're calling a JRPG. And again, I'm talking to my editor. It's like, I thought JRPG meant Japanese RPG. Like, how do you make an JRPG if you're Canadian? And the developers were like, oh no, it's a JRPG because it's in a style. Okay, that's cool, but it's not a JRPG.
Yeah.
It's like, Manny, explain the whole thing with anime.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if we're talking about anime, a lot of people seem to think that Avatar: The Last Airbender is anime, and a lot of times it gets lumped into the anime category. It's not anime.
Yeah, why?
Why? Because it's not Japanese.
Yeah, it wasn't produced in Japan. It
It
could
wasn't
be,
produced in Japan, exactly.
yeah, it could look stylistically like a fucking like Japanese game, Japanese anime. Everything could be authentic, right? It could even be animated by Japanese people. If it
Yes,
ain't produced in Japan, it's not anime. So same
yes,
thing goes with these video games. If it's not produced in Japan, it is not a Japanese RPG. An RPG, a JRPG. I saw some of the comments too. Oh, that's a nebulous term. No, it's actually a pretty black and white term. You know,
exactly,
The J
exactly.
means Japan.
Yeah. When did it become nebulous? Japanese. It's Japanese RPG. I played Rainbow Moon on PS3, right?
Yeah,
It's done. It looks like a JRPG. It's tactical like Final Fantasy Tactics or Knights in the Nightmare, all that stuff. Those games are JRPGs. This game was made by a Western studio. It's a tactical RPG. It's not Japanese. It wasn't made by Japanese. It wasn't made by a Japanese studio. It was made by a Western studio. So it's not a JRPG. It's a
yeah,
tactical RPG. It looks like it's Japanese. It has an anime art style, but that doesn't matter.
yeah. It's not Japanese. And then again, they're like, oh, it's inspired by it. Okay, that's fine. You
You
can
could say
say
that.
that. You can say
Yeah.
that all day long. It's inspired by JRPGs. Cool. It is not a JRPG. I don't get it. So I don't know if it's misleading on their part. I think maybe they honestly just believe like, hey, this is a JRPG because it is styled like one. But it's like, no, guys, no, that's not the way this thing works.
Exactly, but I mean, here's the thing: why are they splitting hairs? Why are they just like, it doesn't matter. Even if they said a JRPG inspired game, that's still fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Does it
There's
somehow
nothing.
make you not authentic? It was like, oh,
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're not a JRPG. That's what I'm getting at. And then I wanted to use this opportunity. Okay, besides the Japanese part, right? Besides the Japanese part, what makes a game a JRPG? Like, what are these guys talking about as far as tropes and stuff? Because there's the
turn based. What do you think of when you think of a
yeah,
JRPG?
that's what I want to
It's
get
turn
at.
based. It's got a specific art style. It's got a very kind of heavy. It's very very story driven. Lots of grinding.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it right there. I mean, like the heart of a Japanese RPG is essentially an anime. If you really think about it, like it has the anime tropes and all that stuff. Anime art style, anime, drama, all that. And then like you said, with the mechanics, lots of grinding. They don't really give you too much freedom with the story. The story is very linear. It may be
Yeah.
very long, but it's a linear story. You have your characters and stuff. They're all set in stone. They all fit specific archetypes and stuff. You have your like stoic hero who may be doubtful of his abilities and stuff. You have like the plucky girl, then you have the shy one. You have a weird animal, maybe. You have the big strong dude and that one quiet guy.
Mhm.
Like, okay, you can have all that shit in there, but it's not a JRPG. But what else is in a JRPG that people think of besides all that? Because to me, it's mostly like the art style and, like you said, the turn-based combat. It's like, okay, that's a JRPG right there, man.
I don't know, traveling around the world. There's usually some kind of epic boss fight that usually involves the fate of the planet or the destruction
Yes.
of it. It's always something epic. It's always like a guy wakes up, I can't remember who I am, and then he meets a pink-haired girl, and he goes and he finds a tree and a talking wolf and a
Yeah.
robot, and
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 they
they
use
go out.
and they use a combined medieval and sci-fi world where they fly around in ships.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like basically, yeah, you start off in your little village, right? Or, wooden houses and all that. And by the end of the game, you're in like a sci-fi land.
yeah. It's like, there's always that trope. It's either some guy washed up on the beach. Hey, I don't remember who I am, but I'm
Yeah.
going to go do this thing now, and you're going to follow me. Or this kid wakes up, and he's about to eat his cereal, and he realizes he has to save the planet because a dream told him to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. By the way, are like the last worlds in like or JRPGs like essentially like the New York and LA of places because they're expensive as shit. You start off in your village, hey, stay here for the night for $10, right? Then you go to the last one, 8,000. It's like, damn, you motherfuckers jacked up the price. How do people live here? This is
Yeah,
expensive shit.
I don't know how people work. If you don't have a job killing the monsters that exist outside your town, I don't know how you live. Like, you can't just be. Don't tell me you're a seamstress. You got to go outside and kill shit, get
Yeah,
money because
exactly.
monsters drop
Yeah,
money.
why would number one also? Why would anybody have any sort of job if you think about it? Because all you need to do is just go out and shoot a couple monsters, and then hey, look at that! I've got $100.
Yeah, I put the
Maybe that's
sword on layaway, man. It'd be like, yo, give me a day, man. I'll pay for this sword. I'm gonna use it
maybe
right
that's
now.
why things are so expensive because everybody's going out and killing all the monsters and makes all the money like kind of worthless.
Yeah.
Inflation.
Yeah,
Yes.
one thing I always wonder with JRPGs and even RPGs in general, it's like, how do humans like survive? How did they make it past evolution with all these monsters everywhere? How did humans evolve? Why didn't they just stay little rats? With all these horrible monsters everywhere. you
It's kind
know,
of funny.
it's like, dude, don't leave your village, man. There's some crazy shit.
I know, you can't even go have a picnic. You'll get murdered.
Yeah,
Stay at home.
fucking a behemoth will just show up and just rip your girlfriend in half. Oh man. So yeah, sorry guys. I'll give you props for making a game that's inspired by games you love, but it ain't a motherfucking JRPG, man.
Yeah, I think they should change the Kickstarter. You could say it's inspired all you want. You could say in your video you love Final Fantasy and Tactics and you love Knights in the Nightmare, all that Atlas shit, right? You could say you love all that stuff and it inspired you and you love JRPGs, but this isn't a JRPG. You're making a tactical RPG.
Yep,
That's
exactly. That's inspired by Japanese RPGs.
Right, and you can say that all day long. That's
Oh
fine.
man, it's silly, but I think they're doing that to get publicity too. If I'm being like cynical about it,
Yeah, it kind of seems that way.
Oh,
Because it's
man.
a Kickstarter, right? They're kickstarting
Yeah,
this
it's a
thing.
Kickstarter, exactly. All right, moving on to Manny's favorite story of the day, Kojima's World Tour. So, Manny, what's been your observation of all this?
Well, so essentially, what's happening is, Kojima's kind of teamed up with Mark Cerny, and they're pretty much going to all what it looks like a lot of the Sony studios, or the companies that have made Sony games. So they started off, and they went to one of the motion capture studios. They went to Sucker Punch, and they're going to all these other places. And what they say that they're on a tech journey or something like that. So
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is that I think that Kojima in general is kind of trying to, being in Konami for so long, he's kind of had to create everything in-house. Everything had to be created within. And now he has the chance to kind of look outside and see what other developers are doing with themselves and the different sorts of technology. Because if you look at like some of their solutions, like from Metal Gear Solid 5, and like how they were like, all right, so, the way they figured out lighting, they decided to figure out lighting for their stuff is they used like a control environment. And if they could replicate everything that's, in the control environment, they can, expand from that, as opposed to kind of using off-the-market stuff and stuff that already exists. So I'm thinking for this one, it's just like he's looking out there. I liken it to kind of like going into an art store. You have ideas, of course. You always have ideas as an artist. But going out in the art store and then looking at the different supplies and kind of getting ideas of things what you can possibly do from what exists in this place.
Yeah, he's looking for inspiration,
Exactly.
Now that he can do that, because, obviously at Konami is very closed in, very restrictive. He can only get so much, influence stuff. Now he's flying around, getting all this. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I find this amazingly refreshing, especially coming from an old school developer like and writer like Kojima, because we just talked about Nintendo at the start of the show. You couldn't be more insular. It's like if a caveman were alive today and he was hiding in a cave and he walks out with the wheel and people are driving cars around him. It's like, yeah, late to the party, buddy. And then you hear about him going to these other studios and getting inspiration and learning stuff. Like, that's great, man. That's how you innovate, right? You learn what other people are doing and then you expand on it. That's how that works.
Yeah, exactly. Something Nintendo does not seem to understand, It's like by staying in a little part of the blue ocean and stuff. But I was reading like this article because GameSpot was talking about it, right, and I kind of agree with them. They said, okay, not only is this like you could see it as like a tech tour, right, just learning the different traits or whatever. It's kind of like a way for him to kind of cleanse himself, just really revitalize himself because of all that shit that happened in Konami and stuff. Just start fresh. And then one of the funniest things I found from this, like, apparently, by the way, you notice Kojima is back on Twitter hard now.
Oh, yeah.
And I have no doubt that's the reason Mark Cerny's on Twitter, because Kojima was probably like, yo, you need to get on that Twitter, man. So, Kojima tweeted out, he was like, hey, should I keep the beard or not? And it was overwhelming. Keep the beard,
And he,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, let me add that I think he also has his Spanish the guy who used to do his Spanish interpretation. This guy named Ken Mendoza. I think he has him back because he also just opened a Kojima Spanish version of himself. Because how he has three. He has his main one, which is it's called Kojima Hideo. Then there's Hideo Kojima EN, and then underneath that now he has Kojima ES. So I'm thinking that guy is maybe handling that version of him.
Does he have a beard too?
No, he doesn't.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's Kojima. Yeah, like it's both of them. He's refreshing himself. He's cleansing himself of all that Konami nonsense and just getting inspired. He may not know exactly what he wants to do. He just wants to just take it all in, like an artist does. And let these things just come up naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Sony is a great studio for that. They're obviously encouraging this, and he's with the main man, Mark Cerny, the well-dressed man, Mark Cerny, traveling the world, just getting things into the world tour is not over yet, so we may see some interesting things, I wonder if actually, just random question, because we know the game's not coming out this year or maybe even next year.
No.
Kojima at E3, you think it'll happen? I think it might.
I think he'll be there.
Why not? Like, hey, I'm Kojima. Why not? Let's go.
I think he'll be there. I think he'll be there, and I think he'll pop up at what is it at New York at Comic-Con, not New York Comic-Con, but he'll pop up at Comic-Con like he did before. Because now he can do that.
Yeah, you can. No one's restricting him this time around.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect you'll see Kojima on the Sony stage, obviously, because he's working with Sony now. Making a game for Sony. Let's just be clear. Making a game for Sony. He'll probably show up.
He may. What may happen is that we might see a concept video, if anything, if they decide to do that if they run that sort of route.
Yeah.
To just kind of get people excited as to what's coming.
Manny, we got to get into E3, man. Maybe get you bump into him again.
I'll use my sneaking skills and find him.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my chance, damn it, if he's there. Fuck that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's nice to see Kojima, back at it again, because obviously when he was in Konami, especially the last year, it's like, don't say nothing, don't say shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was just retweeting stuff at one point. He wasn't even tweeting out his own stuff.
No, he'd only keep it to certain things. He'd keep it to like Metal Gear stuff. He would do only Metal Gear stuff. He would only also like look at like if there was like something cool that he's reading. So
yeah. But now he's back.
He is just looked at it now. He's at a place called I think it looks like it says Bend Studio.
Oh, Bend, yeah, Sony Bend Studio, dude.
He's at Bend Studio right now.
Yeah, people are asking about the new Bend game too. By the way, they're like, "What the fuck is it?"
Yeah.
See, he's doing the Sony World Tour, and Sony obviously has a lot of studios, so it's like an empire, so across the world. Very cool, man. This is like the greatest thing, man. Like Kojima doing his thing. This is what we wanted from him, So it's all good. All right. And the last thing here, Manny, what's up with this crazy IGN story? You were telling me earlier.
It's actually pretty cool. So I just bump. Sometimes I bump around on IGN. Not much, but I saw the story, which is actually kind of cool. This guy literally beat Metal Gear Solid 5 with actually using solar power. What he did was because what happened was the guy was he decided to leave his job. And he was like, I'm gonna go on this cross country, thing, and move to another area. and he had like his prerequisite that he really wanted to play games while he was out there. But rather than buying an extra generator and having to spend money on gasoline and stuff like that to kind of to run it, he figured out how much solar power he would need to run his PlayStation 4 and his television. So every single night he got about 8 hours of gameplay for Metal Gear Solid 5 until he beat it, until when he got onto the other side of the country, which is pretty cool. It also gives he also gives off some really good numbers on how much he did some simple calculation as to how much he would need and how many solar panels he would need, what kind of he also needed batteries to kind of store the energy, so while he's driving during the day, on a sunny day he can store up to a certain amount of energy so that he can play at night, which is pretty awesome.
Did he get that plat though?
I don't know if he got the platinum, but he actually did finish the game. So, and he said after that he also played some other games, but he said it was a little bit difficult for certain games that had to have extremely huge patches, because he had kind of limited internet access. Like they just used their mobile internet access, and how like sometimes that stuff is really slow, or stuff like that. So a lot of times he had to kind of ration it. And he also said that of course when he got to the West Coast and some of the cities that are a little bit more cloudy, that it was it was a little more difficult, and he had to kind of ration out his playtime to maybe 3 to 2 hours, because of course there's no sun.
Yeah, that's a dedicated dude, man. He's like, listen, I'm gonna keep playing my games.
He's like, listen, if we're doing this, but I want to play my fucking games.
Yeah, did he go by himself? I mean,
no, it was him and his girlfriend or wife.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's a good woman, because she was obviously driving while this man was playing games.
No, I mean they probably no. I'm sure what happened is that they probably stopped at night, and he puts in about 8 hours a game, goes to sleep, they get up in the morning, and they drive off. And they get to see experience.
This dude doesn't sleep. Shit, that's 8 hours.
Yeah, so. It's pretty. I think of it this way. Granted, it's cool. It's a Metal Gear game, but it's also the fact that he figured out how much energy he needed to use to run use solar power to run his PlayStation and his game console and his television.
Yeah, hey, gamers are crafty folks, man.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. So yeah, everybody. You want to save some energy? Go get a solar panel and hook it up to your game consoles.
Can you just buy a solar panel like that?
No, well, yeah, you can buy a solar panel, but he had to, of course, buy multiple ones and attach them to the roof of his camper. So it's still it still needed quite a bit of ingenuity to get everything to work there. But yeah, and he also figured out what kind of batteries he might need. Rechargeable batteries that he need for that.
Man.
So.
That's crazy. There's a lot of research going into that.
In the article, he actually gives a lot of different things. He gives how much energy everything costs and stuff like that. And he goes, he thought at some point, well, maybe if he ever decided to do it again, of getting the other PlayStation, which uses less energy, and he'll essentially get more gameplay out of it. Because
which other PlayStation?
The newer version, the newer model PlayStations actually use less power.
Interesting.
They also don't run as hot, and they're also slightly lighter. But they still have the same design.
Yeah. Okay. So it won't be taking off like a fucking rocket like mine. It's like.
No, it runs cool. It runs a lot cooler, and then it also doesn't use as much power.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yep.
Pretty crazy. All right, since we have time to fill, because again, us three, nothing fucking happening. Nobody's getting on their soapbox this week for anything. Let's talk about what games we've been playing lately. I actually wanted to start doing this when we came back with Throwdown, but every topic is, every show is so filled. It's like, okay, we don't really have room for that, but we can do it now. Let's start with Chris. What games have you been playing?
Actually, Brett got me back into Bloodborne because he started the Old Hunters, so I've been helping him go through that. And he's been grinding up a new character because Brett, man, he's got to customize. He plays like Faction Souls. He plays like man. I'm too old to do that, man. I'm not starting a new character. I'm like, my guy's level 200. He's beefy. I'm using
Yes.
this guy, man. So I've been helping him out with that guy, and I've been testing weapons because we were like seeing if the DLC weapons were any good. I personally, most of them, I don't. Only the Moonlight Sword. That's the only weapon I think that's worth getting in the DLC. Like bar none, that shit is awesome. Everything else is kind of like, It depends on your play style. And I wanted to, and I'll probably do this tonight after the show. I'm gonna go get that Dying Light DLC, the
Ooh.
following, and
Whoa,
check
whoa, whoa,
that
whoa,
out.
whoa,
I
whoa,
haven't
whoa,
played
whoa,
Dying
whoa,
Light in
whoa.
a while.
Slow down. Is that out yet? I thought it was next week.
Oh, is it next week? I wanted to play that shit now. I've been watching videos on it.
Shit, man. Like, dude, if that's out now, I'll play that shit with you.
Yo,
I
man,
thought
yo, man, I'll watch you.
I'll watch you.
Damn
Hold
it!
on. Give me a
Has
second.
YouTube been lying to me? People have been playing that.
Hold on. Dying Light, February 9th. That's what I have it listed as. Maybe my shit is wrong.
And let me check because I was watching. I sometimes I watch Outside Xbox and they were playing
Yeah.
it.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
maybe
they might have
they
yeah, they might have a review edition. God
yeah.
damn it!
Sorry, I ruined it, Chris.
Damn it!
Dude, I'll play that shit right now with you,
Yeah,
man.
I've been watching it like all week. I've been watching little videos. These guys have been going through stuff. I'm like, you get to drive a freaking buggy, and there's whole new weapons in there. They had like the guy had a crossbow and something else. I'm like, oh, I want to get back into this. And you're in the countryside now. You're outside Haran, so it's a whole new map.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I wanted to play that, but this is all I get.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yes.
got. I gotta wait.
Yeah.
So, and then I jump back a little.
That's what you
I
get, man.
I jumped a little bit back into Metal Gear because I wanted to check on the status of my
Yes.
base, and apparently it's been picked apart like a
Oh,
chicken at
man.
Thanksgiving dinner.
Man, see, that's my biggest fear right there, man.
So I was playing and just stealing resources. It gave me an excuse to go back in and pay for some security. I'm not paying Konami for insurance though. F that. I'm gonna grind to get my security beefed up and find find those heavy guys and put them in
Yes.
my security force. So that's what I was doing. So I was jumping between that and yeah, I'll wait till oh man. Nah, I got myself all excited for Dying Light and I can't play
Yeah,
it.
sorry
So
about
I'll just
that,
go back.
dude.
Yeah, so I guess it's back into Bloodborne because I'll wait for Brett to jump back on and we'll go through Old Hunters together. If any of you guys want help, I can help you.
Okay, yeah, I need to get on dark on fucking hunters too, man. But I got so much shit to play right now. Like it's not
Yeah.
like oh, like it's like I have to review a bunch of shit now. Before I tell you what I'm playing, tell me more about the DLC. How is it like compared to the main game? Like how is it?
It's good. They put in some more beefy guys in there. Like the guy, even just dude, I walked out of the damn door when you start the DLC. You're in like this inverted version of the cathedral, and I walked out the door, and the first guy I saw, I'm like, yo, I'll kick this guy's ass. This dude beat the shit out of me. I'm like, this is the first guy I saw. Okay, so you just imagine like. They just threw a ton of stuff in there. And let me tell you something. I don't want to spoil it for anyone if you haven't tried it, but the hardest boss in the game might be in this DLC. I
Whoa.
mean, forget Rom the Spider, forget what was I gonna say? Not the Bloodstarved Beast. You know,
Um, fucking Ibridis, daughter of the cosmos,
no,
man.
forget the Daughter of the Cosmos.
Wow.
There's a guy in there, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but you get something very special from him, a weapon that I like very much, and I guarantee he is to me he's the hardest boss in the game now.
Jeez.
Ridiculous.
That's what I wanted to know. Like, damn.
Yeah. So they didn't pull any punches. They dialed it up. Like you did. I didn't think they could dial it up, but they did.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. As far as me, actually, I'm glad I decided to talk about this because something interesting happened this week. So, I played and reviewed and posted the review of Gone Home. Right. I didn't know anything about this game. I've heard of it at most. Right. Didn't know anything about the game. All I knew was when Manny told me, he's like, "Yo, this game is short, and all you do is walk around, pick shit up." Okay, whatever. I played this game. People would tell me, "Oh, the game's about 2.5 hours." I beat it in like an hour and change. It was fast, because I kind of didn't bother reading too much of the stuff. I kind of just plowed through it. just listening to the stories and stuff. And oh man, like I gave the game a 50, right? And I didn't say 50 because it was like subpar. It's because it's literally in the middle. There's nothing great. There's nothing bad. It's just it exists as a video game. You know, it works. It functions. But that's all you do. You just walk around this house. You're expecting like a jump scare. None of that. You walk very slowly. You just pick shit up. You know, and the whole time I'm thinking like, this isn't exactly innovative, guys. Like we've had games like Myst before. You're not doing anything new here. You know, you're just picking shit up.
I don't.
You know?
I'm not exactly sure they're trying to innovate. I think they were just trying to do something that isn't done that much these days. I mean, how many games do you know that are like Myst now?
Yeah, no, there's very few games, but even Myst had puzzles.
Yeah.
You know, no puzzles in this. Literally, just pick shit up until you finish it, right? And then like the payoff is like, I'm not gonna give it away and stuff, but you find out that the main character's sister, you know, she is of a certain persuasion, sexual persuasion, right? And it's like, is this even a big deal now? Like, who the fuck cares? Like, I saw this in the Last of Us DLC. That was kind of cool the way they did that. This one's like, okay, you're that nice.
The thing about it is it also does predate the Last of Us DLC.
Yeah, but even then, it's like it's not a big. Who cares? You know,
I think the idea is of telling a story in a different way rather than blowing the shit out of everything.
Quote unquote story, by the way. Quote unquote story. Quote unquote game. Let's just get that out there.
Well, no, there is a story. There is no quote unquote. There is a story in the game.
I don't really call that a story, man.
Listen, it is a story. It's just it's just a different way of providing the story to you, as opposed to just like, oh, you know, you walk through a door and you got to blow the shit out of every single monster, and then all of a sudden, you know, they throw some little story about this at you. This is just like. It's almost like I want to say maybe like a short visual novel. There was a game called Dear Esther, which was essentially the same thing. Where they give you a really nice kind of environment, and then as you walk through the environment, there are certain triggers in the environment that cause things to happen. But you're literally just listening to a story while you're walking around. Also. Everyone's Gone to the Rapture is also another one of those lines of games where you really don't do that much. It's an empty town, but the story is kind of given to you by certain triggers with certain doors and things that you open. It's a different. I can't exactly call those games. I more think of them as interactive media.
Yeah,
along the same.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I never called Myst a game.
Yeah. Exactly. It it has puzzles in it, but it's really not gamey. Yeah. So I'm thinking the idea with this is just like, okay, what do we, the guy who did it worked on one of the BioShock games, and I think he's like, okay, so let's take that to the next level. What if we just cut most of the game, cut most gameplay stuff, and just try to tell the story as you kind of look through this person's you look through this person's stuff.
Yeah, but see, that's my problem, right? If you're not really going to have much gameplay in there, at least make the story compelling. And even, again, I still don't exactly want to call it a story in the traditional sense, but let's just for the sake of argument, let's just call it a story. The story is really boring and bland. It's like, so whatever, I don't care.
I think you're so used to having. I think for you, this is also. Let me add that to the folks out there. This is not a game that I never would suggest to Tony. I even when I heard he was going to play it, I already knew what he was going to say about it. Because this is not exactly a Tony game,
but here's the thing, though.
A Tony experience.
Yeah, but you need to understand. I mean, you know this too, dude. If I like a story in a movie, right, I would like it in a video game. I wouldn't like this as a movie either.
Exactly. So this is an experience that you wouldn't even go to. So this is like going into seeing I don't know. I don't want to the Stepford Wives, right? It's like something like Pride and Prejudice. It's like going to see. It's like for that. It's like going to one of those films where it's like a film where you just you wouldn't even care about it. Like you're going to see Amadeus or something like that. You don't care.
Yeah. But
I think for a video game, for interactive media or something like that, that's being that it's something that you wouldn't normally seek out, and it's also something that like I'm sure if it was done in a more more in more in the lines of the sort of things that you kind of care about more, I think you might have enjoyed it a little bit more than it's because the story is not anything grand. It's a very kind of personal story. It's also a very sort of pedestrian sort of story.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that could be happening to the person in the next apartment over or the next house over from you.
Yeah, it's something that literally happens every single day,
Yeah.
And again, that's okay if that's what you're going for, but to me it was boring. But here's where it got interesting, right? So I posted this on N4G, and I'm expecting it to go under the radar, right? Because whatever, the game was just nothing really. I throw it up on N4G, and it eventually, like the last time I checked, it was like 140 degrees. That's pretty good. I'm like, what? Or why people were looking at this? So I look at the comments, right? Hold on, let me finish. I look at the comments, right? Literally half of them are saying, "Thank you for being honest about this game. You said what every other reviewer didn't say." And I'm like, okay, because remember, I didn't know about this game. I didn't know what the other. Apparently, all the big sites praised this game.
Yeah.
They exalted it,
I just checked the Metascore is 86.
Yeah, no, I gave it a 50. So they're like, you're the only dude on the internet who give this game a fair score. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then I looked around some interviews, and the guys, people, I forgot. There was one website I looked at. It was a video interview, a review, and the guy was all like, "Oh yeah, this game touched me in a profound way." I'm like, did we play the same game? Like it didn't leave any lasting impression at all on me. The only thing I liked was the voice acting. That's it. It was very bland, like just middle of the road. Like I said, I gave it a 50 because that's what 50 is. It's the middle.
When you talked to me after you finished the game, I said one of the things to know is that there's a very big divide as far as the game goes.
When you told me, I'm on the side of the fans.
Yes,
apparently.
most people. If you ever look at the Steam reviews of it, they're like a shitload of like asshole reviews or mad reviews about the game. This is not a game. This is low rating because, again, it's not a sort of thing of experience that's for everybody. And for most gamers find the game, just like this is not game. This is just walking around and picking up items.
Yeah. No, I kind of felt that way. Okay, so you guys heard of Binding of Isaac, right? You know that game? The super hard shooter. It's like a 3/4 view, and it's a baby, and there's all this disgusting baby stuff in there, and it's hard. It's really extremely hard, and it got great reviews. I played this game, and I'm like, this is crap. Because you know what? I played this on Super Nintendo back in the 90s, and it was way better. It was called Smash TV.
Yes, I was about to say that Smash TV, man.
Yeah, and it's like none of these guys remember that, and they're like, oh, this is so profound, and it's so dark, and whatever. I'm like, this is crap. That's all I say. I'm like, yo, this is why I want these hipster journalists out of fucking video games, man. Get the fuck out of here. If this game is touching you, yo, maybe your uncle touched you. Just get the fuck out of journalism.
For me, I thought the game was. I appreciated the game for what it did, but I could never, as if I were to review it, I could never give it. I mean, I think your score was fair. I'd probably give it a 60. Because but the thing is, at the same time, I appreciated all the things I did, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I wouldn't say that this is a game that everybody should play at the same time. Because especially with the way kind of game, there are gamers and there are people that want experiences, and I feel like the people that want different experiences are a little bit on the minority side of things.
Yeah, but then again, they're the ones writing for big sites.
A lot of those guys are, a lot of those guys are looking for different, something different because they feel like they're playing the same thing. It goes against the grain of what games and stuff do.
Yeah, the other thing that people complain about, which I didn't complain about, the game was short, man. Like I beat it now, I'm like, fantastic! I just beat this game. Cool.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind the shortness of it. I felt like, okay, we get the story. That's cool. I do feel, you mentioned this in your review about the replay value. I feel like at least
you mean it doesn't exist?
I feel like at least playing the story over again doesn't really help it. Like, okay, granted, let's say you didn't find all the different notes or whatever the journal entries for the game. you still relatively get the idea of where it's going, or what, as long as you get certain portions of the story. When you go and play it again, it just feels like you're kind of grinding, and that doesn't do at least in my opinion, it doesn't do the story any service.
Yeah, the ironic part is if you play the game again and you know exactly where everything is, and there's a trophy for this, by the way.
You can beat the game in under a minute if you know exactly where to go. There's one door. There's one door in the game that leads to the end of the game. So if you find that door right away and then you go straight to the end, that's it.
Yeah, which is amazing to me because the character walks so slow. Like, okay, in video games, first-person games specifically, there's a specific speed that most of the games follow, right? This is about half of that.
Yeah, the character
and you can't make her go fast.
The character walks slow, and why? Then at the same time, it's like, okay, if you're a person walking through a house, why would you be running?
Yeah, your house specifically.
Yeah, if it's your house, why would you be running around in it? But then again, there's a lot of silly things. There's also another trophy in the game, which is kind of silly. You're just turning on all the faucets in the house. You just turn all the faucets on in the house, and you pop a trophy. The biggest issue, I have to say, and I told you this one, I don't feel like the game is worth $20.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. It's barely worth $10.
It really, I would have said, okay, it's 10. It's fine that it's 10, but still.
It doesn't even. How are you going to be 20 and without a platinum?
Yeah, I mean, there's another game that also came out on the same day, and that has a platinum trophy.
Oh yeah,
it's the same amount of money.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I'll talk about that now. The Banner Saga.
Yes.
So that's another one I'm currently reviewing for you guys, but that was taking a while. This game, again, I didn't know anything about the Banner Saga at all. The only thing I knew about it was like it's not about Bruce Banner, which is a little disappointing, right? By the way, I want to give a shout out, and I forgot the name of the development team, but I want to give them a shout out. They're cool, man. Like I actually was talking to them on Twitter because I started tweeting about the Banner Saga, and every time I did that, they would start liking it and stuff, right? And then they replied to me for one thing. It's like, oh yeah, thank you for playing the game. We hope you like it. It's like, yeah, man, I'm reviewing the game for you guys. Like, I'll send you the link. Let me know what you think. Cool stuff. This game is interesting, right? Okay, the core combat is, if you know Final Fantasy Tactics, it's that. It's a tactical RPG and stuff. You level up your characters. It's grid based, all that. But the other part is the interesting. It's you guys. Okay, it's because remember we have a young audience here. There's this game that we all played when we were kids in school called the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
It's the fucking, you're taking your little Viking people through a place, and sometimes you gotta set them down. You get, some will get injured, shit like that. You gotta make certain decisions along the way. I'm like, wait, this is Oregon Trail in Final Fantasy Tactics, and it works, and then the animation is really cool. Man, you've seen the animation for this, right?
Oh yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, it looks like a Don Bluth kind of like thing, the character designs and stuff. I'm enjoying the game. It's really hard too, but when you beat a battle, you feel really good about it too. So I'm really enjoying that game. And I know you guys are giving me shit right now. I go, Tony, that was on PC, man. You could have played it. It's like I'm playing it on console now, right? Shut the fuck up.
Hey guys, you gotta understand that Tony's coming from a world where he's not paying total attention to everything that comes out on the PC. So a lot of this, I'm just happy that he's getting to play these fucking games.
Yeah, like Banner Saga. The only thing I knew of Banner Saga was like fucking King was suing him, because of the Saga bullshit. Candy Crush Saga.
Oh my god.
That's all I knew about Banner Saga. I'm like, is this game about Bruce Banner? The developers liked when I tweeted. I'm like, hey, this game's cool despite not being about Bruce Banner. Cool game, Viking. Okay, here's the thing. It's not Viking because it's inspired by Vikings, but it's not about Vikings. You're not gonna have Thor or Odin, none of that stuff. But it's obviously inspired by Norse mythology and stuff. Really cool game. What else am I playing right now? Oh yeah, I'm still cracking at it. Chris, you've seen me play Need for Speed, baby.
That's right. You're still cruising in that Aventador.
Yeah. Well, now I got the fucking. I traded up the Lamborghini for another one. Forgot the fucking name of it. But this shit is a lot better, man. I'm getting close to it, man. I want that platinum. I want that platinum, man.
Yo, man, you want that fire.
Yeah. and there's one more game I was playing. I'm also reviewing some other stuff, but I don't know if I could talk about that yet. Nothing big, by the way, guys. Before you guys, there's nothing huge.
Yo, man, it's the greatest game ever made. Blah blah.
Yeah. So I'm missing a game, but I can't recall it right now. So Manny, what have you been playing lately?
Well, I actually finished when Gone Home came out. I actually conquered down and actually finished it that night because I was just kind of in one of those things. It's like, oh wow, yeah, it just came out. I completed Gone Home when it came on PC, or not when it came on PC, but like it was really cheap on Steam, and I bought that and the Stanley Parable. I'm like, oh my god, 2 first-person games where you don't need to blow things up. So I was like, all right. So I played both of those, and I decided to, buy it again. Which, by the way, thank you, Chris and Tony, for the gift cards that you gave me last year. Literally lasted me a full year. Those 2 gift cards. You both gave me $50 for I think for different things. I think Tony, you gave me for like Christmas or my birthday or something. I think Chris, you gave me one for my birthday or Christmas or something, and that literally lasted me a year. So I hadn't bought a game in a year. Use my own money.
Yeah, digital game, yeah.
Yeah, mostly digital games, and a lot of them are, of course, Apotheon and all those other ones. So yeah, I finished Gone Home. I'm still playing Mad Max. I haven't sat down to play Mad Max because Mad Max is a little bit collecty. Like there's a lot of going into different places. Oh, collect this again. Oh, go collect this again, and it can get a little bit monotonous. And I think that's also something some reviewers have kind of complained about when talking about this game. But other than that, I liked Mad Max. It's a lot better than it should be. It's a lot better than a game based on a franchise should be. So,
that's good.
But it's not Shadow of Mordor level. Let's just get that out of the way.
Okay.
It's good. It does a lot of cool things, but it still feels a little bit empty. Which, of course, which is interesting because you're in a wasteland.
My world is fire.
My world is fire. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. And sometimes I'll toss in Metal Gear to see what's going on. But I had this thing in my head where I wanted to get all the maybe I did get them all. I don't know. It's those little patches for when you get a certain rank when you beat a mission. And I kind of wanted to get a lot of those, but I kind of gave up on that idea. Every so often I'll throw in Metal Gear. As far as Bloodborne, I haven't been stuck it in yet, but I do see Chris and Brett playing it, and that's about it for now. I mean, I'm actually really looking forward to Gravity Rush Remastered, which is coming out like the first week of February.
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. And I'm really excited, and I'm really excited about I'm really excited for some of the stuff I got coming in the mail because I have D-Dog, the Metal Gear figure. I have that coming. And
man, you got the real dog, man.
Yeah, I got D-Dog coming in the mail, and also this is kind of fun. Okay, I didn't know that they were doing this. Big shout out to what is it? I think his name is Metal Jesus or something like that.
Oh yeah, Metal Jesus is cool. Remember we saw him at remember Video Games Live, Manny? That we saw him there. That Metal Jesus. He's a cool dude, man.
Yeah, I think his name is Metal Jesus. Oh, this dude. It's a dude who's like a game reviewer. I can't remember his name. I'm totally getting his name wrong. But anyway, I was watching this thing and I found this. He's talking about it on Amazon. Essentially, what Iron Maiden did is they re-released all of their singles. So I bought like 2 of them, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. I know you guys out there listen to hip hop, but
Yeah. By the way, Manny, thank you. You just reminded me of the other game I was playing. Valiant Hearts.
Ah, yes, that's a great game.
This game was amazing, man. It was fantastic. I'm a history guy, right? But I'm not too versed in the First World War, right? So it was cool just to learn about this in that way. And literally last weekend, I spent the whole weekend watching documentaries on World War One. Learning about it.
World War One.
Yeah, the reason that came up to my mind because you were showing up the trooper, right? That's
Yes.
based on the battle of the Crimean War, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know more about the Crimean War. This essentially like stupid battle more than World War One. So like I need to fix that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Valiant Hearts was great, man. Like I don't know how you could do a sequel to that, but it's like Ubisoft do more games like that. Like they had that, they had Child of Light. Do more shit like that with that UB art engine and stuff.
Yeah, I think I played that last year around the time. I think it came last year around close to the Order, as I remember.
It did actually, yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of played those both in tandem. Really cool game. I'm glad that you actually got to play it.
Yes. See, because I'm trying to get through my backlog, and that was one of the backlog games, so scratch that out.
Yo, man, you got to play it. Well, because it's funny, because I was talking to Tony, like, I forgot, a while ago, and he's like, what games are kind of shorter games that I could beat, and clear out? I'm like, well, you could finish this one. You could finish, Valiant Hearts. That's not super long. Also, Apotheon is not crazy long, but it's a little longer than most.
Yeah, I started playing that. I need to get back into that Metroidvania type of game and stuff. Also, I haven't played this recently because I beat it like 2 weeks ago. I want to talk about Sunset Overdrive real quick. That's another really cool game. Xbox exclusive, people. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not the biggest fan of punk rock music, right? Even though I know some guys are like, "Wait, you're listening to metal, though." It's like, no, it's two totally different styles. Like, the energy is about the only thing they have the same. But I didn't like. I love the punk music in this. It fit that game so well. It was like, if you like Saints Row or Crackdown, you'll love this. It's so over the top. So they break the fourth wall all the time. There's one mission, right? I'll walk you guys through it because we're filling in time and stuff. So I get you on your map you see like a quest point, right? And the blue ones are side quests. So I get there, right? And I don't see anyone initially, and I look behind the building stuff because I always like to check around, and I see a dumpster full of side quest logos. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. So I go up to the lady. She has one spinning above her head, right? And I'm like, hey, do you need anything? She's like, no, I'm cool. I'm like, that's odd. Click on her again. Are you sure you don't need anything? You have a thing over your head. She's like, well, I'm just seeing if it spins or not. I'm like, okay. So I click on it again. It's like, okay, like fine. I do need something. Like I gave a bunch of these to people across the world and stuff, but they didn't give it back. Can you get them back for me? So I literally had to go back to every person I did a side quest for and collect their stupid icon.
Shit.
And one guy, he's like, but I like it. I want to do an experiment. I was like, no, dude, I need to complete this quest. Give me the fucking icon back. But what if I give you the icon and I ask you to give me the icon to complete the quest? He's like, it'll break the fucking game. Yeah, so I love that humor and stuff. The ending was hilarious too because it ends one way and like your main character dies and then she comes back like, this is a stupid ending. Let's do a better one. It's a shame that the game didn't do that well though because it was an exclusive on Xbox. If it would have been on PlayStation, I think it would have done way better. It's definitely a game PlayStation people would like. And it has that Insomniac stuff too, all those weird crazy ass weapons and stuff. So
yeah, that's their signature, man. Those crazy weapons.
Yeah, and you could like the whole game is about momentum, right? Just moving forward and stuff. So it has like rails everywhere. People compare it to Infamous. I kind of see where you're coming from, but you don't have any superpowers, so it's not really.
No, Ratchet and Clank had rails too. You had boots that will let you grind on stuff. Yeah. So it's
that was a great game. I didn't get the. There's no platinum in fucking Xbox games, but I did. I did 100% the game for the most part. I didn't do the side quests. I was a little burnt, but it's funny that game kind of brought me back out of the open world slump I was in because when I played Just Cause, I'm like, I'm not doing any fucking side quests. I'm just playing this shit straight. with Sunset Overdrive, I was like, I want to do the side stuff. This is fun. It always rewarded me for doing the side stuff. A lot of fun, I need to buy the DLC for it. I also played Panzer Dragoons. Oh man, I don't need to talk about
it. Panzer Dragon.
Crimson Dragon, man.
There you go.
Crimson Dragon. What, Manny? You understand my pain, man.
I know. I mean, I know, and it's kind of. I blame you yourself for what you've gotten yourself into because you were expecting Panzer Dragon. You
Wait, did you
obviously
buy
did
that?
not.
Didn't I warn you about that game? I already played Crimson Dragon on Xbox, and I warned you that it was.
Chris,
I was like, you gotta lower those expectations, man.
Chris, you warned me, and everybody else warned me. But I'm like, it's Panzer Dragon, man. I need this.
You
And
met the creator and took a
yes,
photo
I
with
met
him.
him. Yes, man. So I play. Don't get me wrong. It has that Panzer Dragoon-ness to it.
Yeah.
That's cool, but everything around it is so like generic and dumb. It's like, dude, I can't even bring myself to finish it. It's like I'm halfway down, I'm like, I can't. And I'm disappointed because I want to love this game more than anything. Because it's Panzer Dragoon, man. The DNA is in there, but
Yeah, but the only thing that game has in common with Panzer Dragon is the same guy created it. Just be honest. And the guy can have a miss.
I see the dragon designs, right? I see the world design. I'm like, this is right. The gameplay, it's right too, but it's that other stuff around it. Yeah. Oh man, man. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm upset. All right, so that's all I've been playing. So that's that. All right, people. So let's talk about next week's show. So we got a very cool surprise for you. A little bit of a change, but it's still kind of the same. So originally we were gonna have Danny Pena and Paris Lilly from Gamertag Radio on. Unfortunately, Paris cannot make it. He's gonna be really, really like swamped for the next couple weeks. I'm not even sure if he's gonna be on Gamertag Radio for a while. Very swamped and stuff. Danny's gonna be on though, So we're gonna have Danny on next week. We're gonna be, interviewing the guy and stuff. And Paris already said, me and Paris are cool. If you guys see me on Twitter, I talk to him all the time. He will be on the show when things cool off. So it'll be cool. We're gonna have like a 2-part kind of thing with the Gamertag Radio guys, So lots of fun stuff, looking forward to seeing those guys at E3, obviously, So we're gonna have that for you next week, and then another little fun surprise. I didn't talk about this on Throwdown. I kind of slipped through the cracks and stuff. I was on I think we call it the Gaming Podcast Assembly with Broken Games HD. I'm pretty sure you guys all know him. We're gonna do that again next week. It's gonna be a bunch of like podcast hosts and stuff. Our boy John Phipps, Mr. Megadeth, who we had on a couple weeks ago, he'll be on there again, and we're just gonna talk about games, man. It's always good times being on there with other cool dudes and stuff. So look out for that.
Bring up Gone Home and see what they say.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I found out a man on Broken Games. I think his name is Ken, right? He's from Brooklyn. It's like, really, I just keep running into New York guys, man. So yeah, it'll be fun to be on. I didn't get around to posting the first episode on our channel because I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't want to post it because my internet was fucked up that night. It was bad, like I kept cutting out and shit, so if everything goes right, I'll post this one up and stuff. And also, I will post the audio of the panel on our SoundCloud in a month. I'm going to give an exclusive, thing on its Coalition for a month, and then we'll put it on ours so you guys can check it out. Because I know some of you guys don't check out the Coalition, even though you should. Goddammit, it was a good show. Like, dude, it's all of the Throwdown on the show. How can you want to skip that? You need to check that out. But if not, wait a month, and we'll give you that. But you shouldn't wait. Just fucking check it out now, And yeah, that's that. So thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Throwdown Show and on Facebook. Links are available in the description below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight is joined by Emilio Lopez.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. And remember, don't forget to rate us on iTunes.
Yes. Give us those reviews. And Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time on Throw Down Your Questions. Later.
Peace.
Laters.